Hello and welcome back to another episode of Overlay DFS. I'm your host, as always, Ira Silver, and I'm feeling great. I don't know about you, but we have a fantastic show today. And the reason we have a fantastic show today is I'm going to spoil it. Be ready. We started the week 1-0 in the Super Contest and the Circa Millions. We had the Browns last night. So for those of you who are new to the channel and don't know, Overlay DFS is starting the revolution. Okay, are you sick and tired of playing on FanDuel and DraftKings with sharks that have over 150 lineups? I know I was. That's why I started the revolution at OverlayDFS.com. It's also available in the App Store at Overlay Fantasy Sports. So it's a simple start-sit game. You got to decide between the two players listed in the matchup who's going to have more total fantasy points, okay? If you want to pass on the game, that's fine too. We have about 25 to 30 matchups on any given Sunday. You got to select 12 plus 3 alternates. So I'll jump right in and share my screen with you guys. And that way you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So you got to decide who you're going to start, who you're going to sit, who's going to have more total fantasy points, Lamar Jackson or Deshaun Watson. You got to make that decision. If you don't like the game, you just pass on it. So for instance, if you like Cousins over Ryan, Kyler Murray over Garoppolo, Breeze over Winston, and you start building your roster here. You start building your picks here. All you got to do is make 12 picks plus 3 alternates, okay? The alternates are in case of inactives on Sunday morning before the games kick off, okay? If you want to move Kyler to your 10 spot, you just drag and you drop. If you want to move him from the 10 to the 12, you just drag and you drop. I think my screen's in the way here. You see that? Okay, perfect. So start-sit format, it's really, really simple. If you finish in the top 10% of the entries in the $20 Week 11 Progressive, you're going to win $180, okay? That's the top 10%. Best win, loss, and tie records, okay? So if everyone's 8-4, it's going to come down to the confidence points. You see these? 12, 11, 10, 9. These are your tiebreaker confidence points. So you want to rank your best, most confident pick in your 12 spot and so on and so forth all the way down to 1. And then you'll have alt 1, alt 2, and alt 3 that will be inserted into your lineup if one of your players on your starting roster is ruled inactive before kickoff. If you go perfect 12-0 in this game, $7,700 up for grabs. I know everyone can use that. So let's get going and dive right into a few interesting matchups that I think are going to be fun to watch on Sunday. Cousins versus Ryan is one that I'm intrigued by. Kirk Cousins going up against the Denver Broncos. A little tough matchup. However, they're at home. Matt Ryan on the road is never that great. So it'll be an interesting one to see what happens there. Another matchup I like from the running back category is Dalvin Cook versus Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey is playing at home against the Falcons. We just spoke about that. And Dalvin Cook, we just spoke about, is playing at home against the Broncos. Look for a lot of these two guys to get involved on Sunday. I think it'll be a lot of carries for both individuals. And I think it'll be an interesting matchup. I think it's going to come down to the wire here in the fourth quarter between the two players. Who's going to have more total fantasy points? Another interesting matchup I like here on the board is the good old, where was it now? Oh, yes. Kenyon Drake versus David Johnson. I think it's always fun to have two players on the same team at the same position going heads up against each other. Who's going to have more total fantasy points? You got to make a decision. Kenyon Drake or David Johnson? I don't know. We'll see on Sunday. Couple interesting wide receiver matchups I want to talk about. Mike Evans versus Chris Godwin. I love when they're on the same team and they're playing the same position and they're matched up against each other. Who's going to have more total fantasy points? If you're right, you get a win. If you're wrong, you get a loss. Just remember that. And then the last matchup I want to talk about here, I think he might be ruled out. So let's move on to another player. Tyrell Williams versus DJ Chark. That's an interesting one. Both really having DJ Chark, having a pretty solid season, but he's going to get Nick Foles back this week. And he's on the road in Indy. We'll see how that translates. And Tyrell Williams got an easy matchup in Cincinnati. So We'll see how that translates. But yes, that is the rundown of what's available. Again, make 12 picks plus 3 alternates. Go a perfect 12-0, win $7,700 this weekend. And that's growing that's going to keep growing until kickoff on Sunday, okay? The more players that join, the more this number is going to go up. So keep an eye out for that. And if you just got to finish in the top 10% of records to go ahead and 9 times your money. So turn $20 into 180. And if you go perfect 12-0, that's fantastic. Let's jump over to the Super Contest selections. Last night, we had the Cleveland Browns, as I spoke about earlier in the show. The Browns really looked disappointing. Looked great early on, and then they just kind of head-scratching play calling, in my opinion. Let the Steelers hang in there all game. And we all know what happened at the end of the game with that crazy Myles Garrett saga and Rudolph. So I heard Myles has been suspended indefinitely. That was a crazy scene last night, wasn't it? So that was our first pick. So we got 4 left for Sunday. And let's just go ahead and talk about those other 4 picks. So we had the Browns. They covered 1-0 to start. Jets. We have the Jets +1 on the road. I believe in FedEx Field, that's what it's called still, I believe. Playing the Redskins, who are the 1-point home favorite. They will be starting Dwayne Haskins, so it'll be interesting to see here. I think the Jets blow them out. If I was a betting man, I'd bet on it. Next on the board that we have are where are they? The Cardinals. Cardinals +11 on the road in San Francisco. I just think San Francisco is on a high right now. Still, even after losing last week, I just think the Cardinals are too good offensively to be getting 11 points. I think this line should have been more like 9, 9.5. That was my gut reaction. So I'm going to go ahead and take the points with the Cardinals here. 4th game on the board, I'm going to go ahead and take the Eagles as the home dog, getting 3.5 against the Patriots. We all know that the Patriots are out for blood right now. After they lost the Ravens. So that'll be an interesting one to see. But give me the Eagles. Give me the 3.5 at home. That's where I'm at on that one. And our last and final pick is Sunday. Chicago Bears on the road in Los Angeles. The Bears are going to be getting 6.5 points. I think the Rams are awful. I think Jared Goff is awful. I think the play calling has been terrible. And I'm not saying that the Bears were any better, okay? They're not any better. We got MVP Mitch and just terrible play calling by Nagy. Hopefully Montgomery is good to go. Give me the Bears again in this spot. They've let us down a couple times. We've faded them. They've let us down when we had them. Let's see if they can bounce back here and catching 6.5 on the road. That is all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Please go ahead and follow us on all social media at Overlay DFS. Download the app in the App Store at Overlay Fantasy Sports. And thank you for joining us, and I'll see you next time.